Hey there and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a quick tutorial on how to prune a knockout rose. More specifically, how to make a tall, upright knockout rose bush out and become a fatter knockout rose. There is a right way and there is a wrong way, and so today I want to show you how to do that. A lot of people will plant knockout roses across the front of their house and not realize that this little tiny shrub that's maybe 2 feet tall could get up to 6-7 feet tall. And then you have this plant. What are you going to do? Well, you can prune it and you can make it shorter and fatter. You can keep it upright. But today, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I prune in an effort to make it branch the correct way, which is outward. And it's okay if it grows upright, but we're more specifically focusing on the outward growth, okay? Let me show you why. Here's a perfect example of where I want to have bushier horizontal growth. And, you know, it's okay if we have the vertical growth, but I want to really encourage them to become bushy. That is easily achievable because they are a rapid growing plant or shrub. So a rule of thumb when pruning your knockout roses, you want to always focus on cutting right above an outward facing bud. You do not want to prune above an inward facing bud. What does that mean? Okay, here is a perfect example right here. So this, as you can see, a bud is everywhere that the branch is coming out. Right there. That's a new bud. And that is facing outward. Here is a new one that is facing inward. Okay, so let's look at a bigger one. Everywhere you have a branch that comes out, a bud, that is considered a bud right there. Okay, so if the rule of thumb is to make a cut above an outward facing bud, we would want to make the cut right here at a 45-degree angle and not right here, because if we make this cut like this, it's going to cause the outward growth to go inward, which is not what we want. We want to create a fatter shrub. I realized for the purposes of this video, I wanted to explain just a little bit better. So I have a branch, I have my pruners. There's a right way to hold your pruners. As you can see, there are notches for your hand. You're going to hold it like this, okay? When I say 45-degree angle, that means you're going to match the way that the branch is coming off of the main stem. And so what we're looking for, we're gonna say that this is, my arm is the inside of the shrub. Okay, what we're looking for is an outward facing bud. So this one right here would be inward facing. It's facing inside. This would be outward. Right here, when you get to something like this, you could cut it and eliminate a lot. So still, if we are looking at where we want to make the cut, do we want to make it right here? No, because remember, this is the inside of the plant right here. So we would go right down here. We're going to hold our pruners parallel, just the way that the branch is coming out of the stem, and you're going to make a cut just like that. You see the 45-degree angle? I think you can see that. And then that will then promote the new growth to come out here, and that would make the branching. It's going to encourage some growth this way, but your main is going to come this way. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you in a rose, I'm going to show you on the shrub, but I wanted to show you for the purposes of the video with a branch so that you could kind of get a close-up and personal look at it. All right, let's look at it on the shrub. So interior part of the shrub, and then we want to make it bushy. So we're going to look at the outward facing bud. This would be the outward facing bud. You would come in here again, holding the pruners the correct way. You would cut, you can cut like this, or you can hold it down. I'm in an awkward angle because I am doing this on a video. If you want to take more than that off, you're going to come down again right here, and you're going to match that angle. Usually it's a 45-degree angle, and you're going to make that cut. See, that's outward facing angle. I think you can see that. I have an incorrect prune, and I want to show you over here in 2 different places. So here I made a cut, and as you can see, I made a cut just above and not at a 45-degree angle. I was rushing and I noticed this, and so I wanted to show you. So what I needed to do was to come just below it where there's an outward facing, and I needed to cut here. These are the wrong pruners, otherwise I would do it right this minute. So about 2 weeks have passed, and I wanted to show you the new growth that has happened since I made the pruning cuts. So I ended up leaving the one that I cut wrong, which is right here. Remember, I had said I needed to cut it here to promote the outward growth. Instead, I cut it above the bud that was facing inward, and as you can see, it did put on new growth going inward. Same right here. So you can see I made several improper cuts right here. I was just going to town, I think, honestly. So let me look at the one that I did properly and I showed as my example, and you can see right here it encouraged a new axillary bud that is lying dormant waiting, and when it is pruned right here, it causes that axillary bud to spring into life. All right, and so you can see it did put forth growth here, and then underneath it also did. So I can come in here and pop it off, but I'm okay with that one. Same here. It's causing outward growth, but I also didn't come in here and cut too much down on the bottom like I should have, and so I'll probably do that to encourage the branching. I did on this side. So I hope that helps you to see what it is I was doing and how an incorrect prune looks once it's put on growth, and a correct prune once it's put on growth. Like, this is a lot of work just to prune my roses. Well, this is where you want to get specific when you have a goal for your roses. You can come in and shear them. They are very forgiving shrubs. But if you're trying to create and prune properly, these are the steps that you want to take, and it really doesn't take that long, and the rewards are amazing. I hope that makes sense. Please ask me any questions you have if I'm not explaining it well, if you need me to go back in. And then let me show you how we deadhead. Right here, we have a spent bloom. A lot of times they just pop off, but if they don't, and you want to just keep your plant happy, because remember, it's putting energy into everything, we don't want it to go there, we're just going to snip it off, just like that. And I come through here and I do that regularly. I carry these little Dollar Tree snips around with me, and I am forever just popping off the spent blooms like that. And it just makes it look neater. Let's talk about a different technique. Let's talk about, you really don't care if you do these little specific cuts. You want to just take it down, like I would want to do here on this shrub. Okay, I'm not looking for outward growth. Let me show you. I'm not looking for outward growth because it's on the corner. I want to keep it tight and I want to encourage growth up, but really I just want to keep it kind of contained. So you can do something called shearing your rose, your knockout rose, and it works just as good. You're not really paying attention to inward or outward growth. You're just trying to bring it down. So you can take hedge trimmers and do this. I don't recommend it because it does leave split ends on the and frayed ends on them. But say, like, I want to take this big area out. I'm just going to go down to where they all come together and I'm going to cut. And I want you to watch how quickly this is transformed. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of go down in the plant, and I'm just going to make a cut. And be very careful because they hurt very badly. Now look at the difference that made. It brought it down, So you can see I cut all of that out because I went down to where they all came together. You can see where the stems come out of one, and they start to make all these different, probably from my prior prunings. So I would just go in, determine where I want it to come down to, and then I would make the cuts according. And a lot of times you're going to pull the roses off, but that's okay. They jump right back up very quickly, like within 2 weeks. So you can do something called shearing, or still making prunes. You're taking it down, but just be very thoughtful in what you do. Always, always, always take a step back, look at what you've done, make sure that you're not cutting huge gaps in your plant, in your shrub, and that you aren't doing it at a time where it's like a frost outside. You want to make sure that you still have enough time for that plant to regrow a little bit, and the bottom and the new growth isn't going to burn. So right about now is okay, kind of getting close, and then we generally shear them, cut them way back in March-ish, just to give them a chance to flush out in the spring. So there you have it. All right, I'm back over where I wanted to lower the height of the roses. And so all that I'm going to do is come in here and I'm going to look for the individual branches that are too tall that I want to bring down. And for the sake of this tutorial, because I am not doing this today, I am just going to come in here and I'm going to go all the way back down. So typically if it's a big branch like this one, I'm going to go all the way down here and I'm going to eliminate the whole thing like that. Okay, so that takes off one cut, removed all of that, and it brought it down. And so like this one right here, I would come all the way down and I would just make a cut there. See how that lowers it? Just by making one cut. And I'm going all the way down to where the new growth begins, or the leaves begin, and I am making a 45-degree angle cut. You always want to do that at an angle. And that's the angle of the branch, so most of the time that's very helpful guide. Just line it up parallel with the branch. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you on how to properly prune your knockout roses, the right way, the wrong way, and you know what to look for when you're pruning really anything. Remember, your goal is to have healthy plants. You want to make sure that you are continuously monitoring your plants and, you know, make those cuts, but be intentional about it. Step back, look at what you've done, step back in, make the cuts, especially when you're taking the height off. You don't want to cut gaps in your whatever it is you're pruning, but definitely not your knockout roses. So I hope that's been helpful. Feel free to ask me any questions. Let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to hearing from you. Check out my other videos, and I look forward to other ones coming out soon, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.